In this project, I'd like to show you how to create this dress. Whether it's for a wedding or any occasion, you can create a really beautiful card using this technique. And here are some others. I'll show you in this video. Hi, I'm Diana. Welcome to Craft It Sweetly. Thanks so much for being here. For this project, the first thing you need to do is decide what color you would like the dress to be. And for demonstration purposes, I'll use this polka dotted one just so I can have white on the other side. But the card I'll ultimately make is for a wedding, so I'll use a dress that's white. You start off with whatever size you want the dress to be. You need to start off with a square, and I'll use 6 inches because you'll see when I fold it, it does become a little shorter than that. But if you start with a 5-inch square, your dress is gonna be smaller. But for this size here, this is 6-inch. So you can see that this was 6 inches and then some of the height is lost in the folding. We start off with the paper and then it needs to be folded in half. And I will use a bone folder here. I'll fold this in half right here. And then this gets folded in half on each side. Then we open this back up and do one more fold in here. So this was to the middle. This gets folded in half as well. Same on this side. Once you have the fold here, we fold it here, and this is your center line, and then flip the paper over, and now we'll fold this in up to that center score line. I'll fold this over, and I'm leaving about 1 inch distance for this size dress. Now if you're doing a different size dress, you may want to have a little more exposed. And then once I have this here, then I'll flip it back here and then fold this over. And the amount you fold down will determine how long you have for the dress itself. Okay, so now this is what this should look like. You have the top part of the dress and then the bottom of the dress. This bottom, I'm going to fan out. And you just kind of pull on it to make it stick out a little more. I want it to be open up to this point here. And same on this side. And then once you have this is the neckline area. I will open this. Now you can do it where it's short, like this up to here. I'm gonna open it more. And a bone folder comes in really handy at this point. Now back here, you could leave it as is here if you'd like. What I like to do with it is I do snip this on each side a little bit. Okay, and I cut it just about 1/4 inch on each side. Fold this back, but then what I'll do is I want to lift it back up. So I'm kind of forming a triangle. I want this part to be sticking up. You can kind of help the paper to shape it in that direction. So this is what I formed, a V here. And the reason is if I look on the flip side, I created these 2 more triangles up here. And I just think it adds a little bit to the interest at that point. Now this is a little wide here, So what I do with this is, if you open it up a little bit and kind of form a cup like this, and you want to do that on each side, and I'll show you in the front what that did. So you want to kind of be equal with this, and again, a bone folder comes in handy just to make sure you have that folded down. And as you can see, I folded this down. Now this looks a little strange here because this is so wide here, so I want to tuck this back on each side. Once you tuck these back, you can add some glue if you would like to each side, and that helps keep it down. And then once you're at this point, you can embellish this if you'd like. I'm going to add a pearl up here, so I'm going to add a little bit of glittery paper to this waistline as a belt. And I think that kind of ties it in nicely. Now the one that I'm using for my card is this one that I made. And for this one, instead of adding a belt, I used these kind of gems. These are from the Dollar Tree. And I used these gems to create the belt area. And I think that's just like a tiny necklace for accent. For the card, this is a 5x7 card. It's for a wedding, so I thought it would be nicer just to have it a little larger. And I wanted to add some background to it, and I cut out this foiled cardstock that I had that's double-sided. I'll add this to the front of the card, and for that I'm using this Easy Runner double-sided tape. But I think what would look nice is to add some corners to this so that this almost looks like a frame. And I have this paper that has little hearts on it, so I'm going to cut corners on here for each one. And this I will just use glue to glue these down. And I don't want any of the gold part exposed here, so I want to make sure it covers like a photo corner. Okay, now this ties in more the theme with the wedding. And the other thing that I want to add is a sentiment to this, and I'm just using some white cardstock, and then from this stamp set that I have, which is a Concord, a 9th set, It's Your Day is what I will stamp on here. This I will set down here. Now one other thing I want to add to this is, because I was sent a picture of the dress, it did have tulle and lacy kind of effect to it, so I want to add just a little bit of embellishment to this dress. And for the dress, I did have this right down the middle, but instead of, I took it off because I decided I wanted to add this to the front. This is just tulle that comes in a roll like this, and I cut off a portion that's twice the length of this, and I'll use some art glitter glue right over here, and then those gems will eventually go on here afterwards. This art glitter glue dries clear, which makes it easy to add this because then you really won't be able to see it. And I'm finding the middle and just kind of twisting it a little bit so that it's not so bunched up, and then setting it down here right along the waistline area. And just press it a little bit for the glitter glue to dry, just for about 10 seconds. Use this as a press for a second. I'm going to cut some of the same material, some of the same paper that I had the dress made out of. I'll just cut a thin strip as the waistband for this. And this is the same one that I used for the sample dress that I made. And that's gonna go right on top of the tulle to hold it together, and then I'll add the jewel to it. And that way this is not going anywhere. And then once you have it down, if it looks like it's a little too long, you can certainly trim if it's not shaped right or you want to make any adjustments. And now I'll add the gems directly on here. And what I'll do is, this does have a sticky backing to it, but because this is glitter, I'm going to add just a little bit of art glitter glue to this to make sure that it stays put and doesn't come off the card. And then the last thing to do is attach this. And for the backing, I'm going to use some of this to put behind the dress. So these are the 3 spots I added this to: the top, and then the middle, and the bottom on the dress. And could go centered or just slightly off center, which is what I'll do with this. And then this, so that because there's already dimension with this, I'm just gonna stick this directly on the card. All right, so there is the card with the dress on there. I think makes a beautiful card using this dress folding design. If you have any questions, please comment below. Would love to see your projects. You can join my Facebook group and post your projects there. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next project.